Hello, Shelby County, and welcome to One-on-One with Dr. Brooks. I'm excited today to be at Chelsea High School. I want to introduce you to some of Chelsea's finest students. Let me tell you who they are by name. I want to introduce first the president of the Student Government Association, Kate Peterson, if you will raise your hand and wave. The vice president of the Student Government Association, Sydney Bridgman. The senior class president, Will Fant. And the senior class vice president, Kyle Vincent. Guys, thank you so much for joining me on this podcast today. It means a lot to have you guys here. So I want to start out just by talking about an event that you all recently invited me to, and it is the Chelsea Hall of Fame. So I want each of you at some point to just tell me a little bit about the Chelsea High School Hall of Fame, what that means to you, of course, recognizing people who have come through Chelsea and your roles in it. So who wants to start? Kate, you want to start?
Yeah, I guess I'll start. I really like it because it's just so cool getting to really do the research on the nominees and kind of look back and see what all these people have accomplished and like what they've done for the community, what they did when they were in high school. It's honestly really inspiring to see, these 16 and 17-year-olds like 20 years ago see all that they did, and you're like, dang, that's a lot. Yeah, I should probably start working on that. But it's so cool to really like do the behind the scenes work. I think that's one of my favorite parts of the whole thing.
Sure.
Yeah, I like the beginning of the Hall of Fame coming to be. It was like, what can we do to bring the community together to celebrate Chelsea, all that it's done? And so like the idea was kind of like, let's give credit to where Chelsea's been, but like more importantly where it's going. And so it was really cool to see the past of Chelsea and all these amazing accomplishments and just like all these people we can look up to and just celebrate for all that they've done. So I think it's really cool, and I hope it lasts forever.
Yeah, for sure. Guys, what do you think, Will?
I'd have to say my favorite part is how the inductees interact with each other rather than us.
Right.
Because it's cool seeing, since they're all across different years, it's cool seeing how some of them have taught each other and how they know each other, how they've came across each other throughout Chelsea, and also how close they've been from just going to Chelsea. I find that really cool. And then we also get to hear the stories from the older inductees, and we hear names that we don't recognize, but the other inductees do.
Sure.
And you can read their faces and see how much it means to them knowing that they're being recognized.
Good deal. Good deal.
So what I like the most about it is we get to honor people, and sometimes they don't even think that they've done that much for the communities, but other people think otherwise.
Sure.
So they're just so humble about it, and we want to honor them, but although they may not think they deserve it, we really do.
Yeah. And so I know this was year 2 of this event, and I thought what was really cool, and no disrespect to the other nominees, but I would say the best part for me was actually the recognition of the former mayor, Mayor Niven, and his wife, and hearing that story and the history behind that. So tell me what that meant to you all, because they are really seemingly the foundation of Chelsea, or their families have been the foundation of Chelsea. So.
Yeah, for me personally, it was just like fascinating. I didn't know that they were the first family of Chelsea. So like hearing all the stories and all the things that they did to like, essentially like start Chelsea on this path where it is today. I mean, I thought it was amazing, and they were more than deserving of it. So I was really glad that they were able to be there last night, and we could, give them the credit that they deserve.
Sure.
I was their person of like contact, because each of us get assigned like one inductee to like contact and get their information and pictures and all that fun stuff. So I was their person. So I got to see all their stuff and kind of dive into the stuff they gave me and like do research on them. And that was so cool. And I was a little bit in awe when I met them. I was like, oh my gosh, I've heard so much about them. And they did not disappoint. They are truly amazing individuals.
Yeah, and they're amazing together, like such a great team.
Yeah, I thought that was really neat that
Yeah.
they were together and they were honored together.
Yeah.
I just like being able to see them again because ever since Mayor Picklesheimer was elected, I haven't seen much of Mayor Niven, so I was just glad that he was healthy along with his wife.
That's okay. That happens all the time when we do these. So, yeah. It was good to see him and see that he's healthy. And I will say, when I started in my role as superintendent, he was on his way out as mayor, but I had worked with him. Our school board had worked with the city of Chelsea on several projects, and so it was great to see him and to hear them tell their story. So moving forward, though, I'd like to know from you guys, and I know we have 3 seniors and a junior here, so tell me from each of you, talk a little bit about your experience at Chelsea and what it's meant to you. Because I think the sentiment that I heard a lot last night or when we had this event was family. So talk a little bit about that and talk about your experiences here at Chelsea High School.
Okay, so I went to Mount Laurel Elementary School, and so like I've always been like a part of Chelsea and like grown up in the Chelsea area. Like I played for the rec leagues and stuff like that. And me and my brother both went to Chelsea Middle School and now Chelsea High School, and it's been a great experience. And I'm just so grateful to Chelsea because it gave me a place I can call home, and it's opened so many doors and given me so many opportunities. Yeah. And like I've made friends that will last a lifetime. And like I actually had to do this scholarship application the other day that talked about community and community service, and it was so easy for me to write about Chelsea because I could just give examples of the trainer who came back to practice the day I injured myself, left her home that night and came to check on me. Teachers were always willing to stay after school if I needed help. It was just the little things like that I think of Chelsea when someone asks me about what my community means to me. Yeah. So I'm very grateful to Chelsea for all that's done for me.
That's awesome. I'm interested to hear from you guys because y'all are seniors too. So, and you're of course okay. At the only a few weeks left. So
this is actually my first year in SEA, but I've been a Boy Scout since middle school, and what we do in Scouts is similar to SEA and other organizations we have. We like to help people in the community and give back. So when I aged out of Boy Scouts, which was a few months ago, it was around the same time SEA elections came up. So I decided to join to be able to continue what I've been doing since middle school, which is help other people, and I've been liking it so far.
Awesome.
So I have pretty deep roots in Chelsea. My dad graduated in '90 from Chelsea High School when we were 3A, and if you notice, Turin and Marianne Moore, they're both in my family. They're inductees, and so I have a lot of family here. Actually, after I graduated, it will be the first time since 2009 a Fant hasn't been in the high school. It's been a lot of us, and it just means a lot to play football and go to the same school that my dad did and that his brother did, and just like the Nivens, it's just very deep rooted. The Moores, the Nichols, the Shaws, I'm all related to them.
Sure.
And it's kind of the same situation as the Nivens, all of the earlier families. So it's cool being a part of the history and also being a part of the family and knowing that I got to continue what started so long ago. And the football program meant a lot to me and my family too. And it was cool having Mr. Nivens come up and say, "Oh man, I loved watching you Friday night," and I just learned so much about him, and he already knew more about me, so it was really cool.
That's awesome. So you're actually a part of, you have family history, and then of course Chelsea's growing and has grown since your dad went to school here. So for you all, and Kate, I know you're running for SGA for next year.
Yes.
And I know you're looking forward to that, but I want to hear from you guys. Tell me a little bit about what's next for you. What's after you graduate? What's next? And then we'll come back to you, Kate.
Okay.
All right.
I'm going to the University of Alabama.
Okay.
I'm planning to major in marketing and a minor in sales. Once again, whole family went to Bama.
Okay.
It was kind of set out for me, but I'm super excited about it.
Good deal. Yeah. Fun place. My son went to Alabama, so I think you'll enjoy it. So we enjoyed our trips down there. So
Okay. So I'm going to Auburn to study chemical engineering, and I'm also going to be participating in the marching band there too. But
Oh,
I
wow.
hope that I can still have the time to volunteer, because like I do miss doing it because it's just fun.
yeah.
But yeah, that's about it.
Well, hopefully you can find that opportunity there. There are lots of them. There are, schools and community events that go on in Auburn. And you're probably saying, how do you know that? Well, my wife went to Auburn, and so we actually spend a lot of time there as well. So we actually are a house divided. So son went to Auburn, son went to Alabama, wife went to Auburn. So we find ourselves in both places during football season. So, and Sydney?
I'll be attending Spelman College. I plan to major in psychology pre-law. So, and then I also want to continue volunteering and like join a service organization and then get involved in their student government.
Sure.
Yeah,
Sure.
so looking
That's
forward
all.
to that.
Yeah. So you ready for Atlanta?
I am ready, yes.
All right,
My
good
aunt
deal.
lives there. She also attended along with my mom.
Okay. Good
Yeah.
deal. Good deal. And of course, Kate, we're looking for great things for you in leadership next year. What's your platform?
What's my platform? Let's see. Like campaign-wise or just for next year?
Yes, what is your platform for campaigning?
For campaigning.
And tell me if you feel good about, being elected. I mean, obviously, being a junior, you are the president of SGA
Yes.
this time, so you're the incumbent.
Yes. So this year I'm obviously running for re-election, which campaigning is never fun, but it's something.
agree.
It's a good experience. I'm glad I get to experience it because it gives you skills where you're like, I'm going to go up and I'm going to talk to my peers and I'm going to have those awkward conversations. But the more you do it, the more familiar you get, like talking to people and having those cool conversations. So I'm very lucky to have that experience, even though campaigning isn't always fun. But regardless of, what role I am in next year, I do plan to still be involved with SGA next year. I would love to be reelected, but if not, I will hopefully take on a smaller role, get a work on some specific projects. I have a few that are in the works right now that I'm excited to see what happens with them this upcoming year.
Good deal. All right, so this is my last question for each of you. I love, and I want you to complete this sentence. I love blank. I love blank the most about my experiences at Chelsea High School.
There are so many things I love about Chelsea. It's hard to pick. But I'd say I love the relationships that I gained from my experience at Chelsea High School. I'm talking friendships and the ones with my teachers, and then just outside organizations that we've interacted with for different SGA projects and stuff like that.
Yeah,
I feel like relationships are an important part of life, and
of course.
so I think having these connections now will help me in the future with whatever careers I take on. And then your friends are people who love you and support you and are second family members, so I think it's really great that I can be grateful to Chelsea for that.
Good deal. Good deal.
I'd have to say I love the environment at Chelsea High School. It's a very unique but also just amazing environment where they very much encourage you to just try new things and to step out of your comfort zone. All the sponsors for the different clubs, they're constantly just encouraging you to try those new things, which is amazing. Along with the teachers, it's just you feel safe in the environment because you feel like you can talk to those teachers and ask those questions, and that yes, you might struggle, but those teachers are there with you, right beside you. And also just the student. I mean, the student body is something special. You just feel so close to your peers. And it's just, I mean, football games and basketball games and our student section. I mean, there's nothing quite like it out there.
Yeah, good deal.
I definitely love the teachers at Chelsea the most, because even the ones I don't have anymore from freshman year and sophomore and junior, I still talk to them on a almost daily basis. And the ones I have now, I talk to them like they're friends and not as, people that give me work. And yeah, even in band, I play ping pong with the band director. So
Oh, wow. Okay.
it's just fun, very inclusive.
Good deal. Good deal. I love that word, inclusive. So,
I'd say I love what I've learned, and not specifically education-wise. That's always, you take that how that is. Sometimes you love what you're learning, sometimes you don't. But what you learn to improve yourself, to build your character and all that, I feel like Chelsea does very well with that, especially how close we are, and then also the sports. You find out things that you didn't think you could do, and it's just a lot of change over the 4 years. I still talk to all my freshman teachers, and they just laugh when they see me now.
Yeah.
And talk to me and on how different I am, and you just learn so much outside of academics, and that's what I love about it.
good deal. Well, guys, I want to thank y'all for joining One-on-One with Dr. Brooks. I certainly found some admiration for each of you just in my interaction with you and attending the event that you put on. I thought it was really neat. I thought it demonstrated a great deal of leadership. I thought it demonstrated a passion for knowing the history of your community, and in many respects celebrating that. So I thank you for the invitation to the Hall of Fame event, but more importantly, just appreciate what you've done as leaders in your school. And I will tell you, leadership is probably one of the most important things. Sydney mentioned relationships, but finding those spaces to be leaders and to serve people is really important. And so I'm, again, thankful for having the opportunity to meet each one of you, but also really impressed with all the things that you've done to serve Chelsea High School and enjoy this experience here. So thank y'all for joining.
Thanks
Thank you for having us.
Well, y'all, that's it for another episode of One-on-One with Dr. Brooks. As I say every time, it's awesome to get to speak to amazing students. It's awesome to get to spend time with kids who are really shaping the future. And I'm excited for the seniors, and of course, Kate, that's a junior. I'm excited to see what's ahead for them, and we look forward to visiting with you, our audience, again on One-on-One with Dr. Brooks. Take care.